Today, on Be Something Wonderful, this manifesting technique invokes your creative power as God. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. I have a big video for you today. One of you that I spoke with yesterday said, I feel like Bruce Almighty, speaking and pointing my desires into existence. If you ever watched that movie with Jim Carrey, it's called Bruce Almighty. He has the powers of God for a day or for some period of time, where he's invoking, he's creating things, right? So it's really a fun, light movie, but it has a great message as well. You should watch that movie. But this particular creator says, I feel like Bruce Almighty. I wanna get at this point, because not only did he say that, there was a comment on the channel, I think, on one of the videos, where one of you said something similar, that you're thinking something and it's coming into being, that you're seeing it, that you're walking around creating your desires and your reality in that instant. This is powerful, because this is what we're going to talk about today. And remember, when we talk about verses from the Bible, we're not talking about the Bible as a religious text, as a Christian document. We're not talking about religion at all. We're talking about the metaphysical meaning behind the stories, the metaphysical meaning behind Jesus as your I am awareness. All of it, Old Testament, New Testament, we're always looking at the metaphysical message of you as an aspect, a center, a unique, personalized, individualized center of God, or that one divine mind, or that one consciousness. So I want to talk about this today and more. Let's start. This segues nicely into today's lesson. This comment that one of you asked a question about imagination, about when kids imagine, and this was your question. When we were kids and we used to be convinced of being something or someone in our kid imagination, we didn't generally perceive it in 3D. How is that different? I don't get it. Well, remember, think about this. A couple things. One, it's not we, it's you. It's I used to be convinced. You can't know what others were convinced of. You can't know what others perceived. You can't know what others manifest. You can only know your assumption, your view, your perception of others as that point of view to you. That's the first thing, from that point of view of who you are. And then you said in our kid imagination, already declaring it as not real. Right? You're saying my kid imagination, and it didn't generally perceive it in 3D, but you don't know that. How do you can't know what, remember, from this adult perspective, from this linear, physically focused identity of you now, because there is no past, it's happening right now. You can't know what that kid perceived as real or imagination. You can't know their experience, even though it was you. You can't know that because you're no longer that identity. You are this identity that's creating a past where you used to be convinced of something, or you believe you used to be convinced of something, but never perceived it in 3D. You're creating that idea now. You have no idea because you can't know others' experiences either. You can't know from this present identity, full of your own adult limiting beliefs and assumptions, what that kid perceived or didn't perceive. And that kid, even if that kid is you can't know that. You can't know what others' perception or experience is. And there's no past where you were convinced but didn't manifest it or perceive it. There's no past where that exists. You're creating that idea now. Right? You can only know your assumptions and your experiences, but only your experiences right now from this perspective. Because there's no past, there's no future, there's only now. So you can't know what others manifest, or what others assume, or what others experience. You can only know what you perceive of that, what you assume of that. You don't perceive anything, and the other point is, you don't perceive anything in 3D. There is no 3D out there. 3D is your perceiving, is your perception, is the perceiver. It's all of it. So you're creating that, right? There are whole worlds of Peter Pans out there that you'll never see. Right. Kids don't distinguish between real or imagined, between real and unreal. Adults do. And you, as this adult, are doing that. So you're saying, why don't the kids experience it? The adults are saying that. It's only your imagination. It's not real. That's all you're going to see then. And you're going to perceive the kids as not seeing it in 3D because you're saying it's not real to them. You can't know what others' perceptions are. You're creating and making all of this up now. Everything is real or an experience of reality, no matter what. Right? Whether it's your dreams at night, whether it's your daydreams, whether you're imagining it, doesn't matter. So it's not about that. You'll never see it, perceive it in 3D because that's your viewpoint. That's your assumption. You cannot see beyond that lens. Beyond those assumptions. I hope that's very clear to you, right? You won't see it. So what do? Relax, have fun, be light about it. No matter what the conditions are, stop distinguishing between real versus unreal, between seen versus unseen, between 3D versus imagination. Remember, when all the spiritual greats say that everything's an illusion, they mean nothing is as it seems. They're not saying it's not real. They're saying it's not what it seems. It's not what it appears. There's an ultimate reality behind it. So reality is as you are. You're not being delusional. You are being source. That's right. So when others say you're being delusional, say, no, I'm being source. Right? Remember, it's all reality. God, I am. The Word of God, I am. That's reality in the moment. So just say the word, I am that which I desire to be. Remember, we're not saying that we're not distinguishing between conditions, whether they're serious or not serious, or important or not important. To your source, to the God within you, to the God that you are, everything is serious and not serious. Everything's important and not important. It doesn't distinguish anything. It doesn't cut things up and classify them and separate them and limit them like we do from our physical experience of our finite mind. So this segues nicely in today's lesson. I feel like Bruce Almighty. I feel like Bruce Almighty, literally changing reality as I walk. And he was specifically talking about the video that we released earlier in the morning. He said it was perfect and it was a perfect confirmation, and really is even going to really level me up further as I create my own reality. Well, remember, I feel like Bruce Almighty literally changing it as I walk because you are changing it as you walk. In fact, movement itself is a shift in reality. It creates the illusion of movement. We're not going anywhere. We're just here and now in awareness. And we create that illusion. Remember, illusion means not as it seems. That we're moving, that we're creating, that we're manifesting, but it's all done. We're just consciousness, awareness moving over that creation, seeing different aspects or viewpoints or vantage points of all that is, of all that probability. You're shifting billions and billions of frames of reality in every moment. So the biggest manifesting myths debunked to fulfill your desires now, that video he was specifically talking about, that we released yesterday. I would watch this before you even finish this video. Because yesterday's video is called The Biggest Manifesting Myths Debunked to Fulfill Your Desires Now. Watch that, or watch it after, but watch it because it goes well with this video. Because your word, I am is it. Someone asked, I think there was a comment, what's the word after watching the video? What's the word? I am. What other word is there? You might be new to the channel, I'm not sure. Your word, I am, invokes the creative power of God as God. Right? Before Abraham, I am. In other words, that word in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning, source, the Word was with God and the Word was God. I am is the one and only power that creates world. What's the word? In the beginning was I am. And I am was with God and I am was God. Before Abraham, I am. that one source, that one isness, the existence of reality, that changeless existence. The first manifestation is your I am awareness. To be able to be aware of yourself as this creative power. That's why it's so powerful. And I'm going to give you something today that this Bruce Almighty is actually his way of approaching our I am affirmations, or I am robotic mantras, or whatever you want to call them. And and I love it because it's what we talk about. And I'm going to show you how he declares it and imagines it here, right? Because some of you say, well, I have struggle imagining it, or I can't visualize it. Forget about all that. Do this today. This manifesting technique summons that creative power within you, and summons the power that creates worlds, invokes the creative power of God within you. Yes, it's I am, but we're going to give you a specific way. And remember, I generally don't do this, but it's a specific way that's really general, that's really natural to who you are. So I think you're going to love it. So before anything, there was no thing. In other words, there was just all that is. I am awareness of being, pure potential. Before any manifested thought, image, perception, feeling, sensation, person, event, and circumstance, before Abraham, was I am. The great no thing in everything. It's everything, but no thing in particular. It's pure potential. Now, remember, nothing is not, we're not saying nothing is, don't confuse nothing with notness. Notness is non-existence. I am not does not exist. We're not saying it doesn't. We're saying it's nothing. We mean it's everything. Like the quote from Dr. Joe Dispenza, that you're more nothing than something. Right? If an atom is 99.99999% unseen energy, in less than 1% manifested physical substance, then you're more nothing than something. But you're not. You exist. So one of you said, oh no, I can imagine that I don't exist. You can't, because even saying that means you exist. Do you see it? It's impossible. Non-existence doesn't exist. You can't imagine. You can imagine nothing, but nothing is not existing. Nothing is something. It's everything. It's all things. God to Moses, I am that I am. I am who I am. This is the key. We've talked about it in many different ways, but this is the key to everything. This is the key to manifest anything in minutes. Just like our creator there, Bruce Almighty, that I spoke with yesterday. And another one of you that said you've been manifesting things instantly as you're walking around. This is on the channel. You posted on that. Manifest in minutes, right? And we use that idea, minutes meaning that's a concession to a root assumption and belief in linear time. So we use minutes. But we know it's instant. We know it's simultaneous. We know there is no actual delay in anything. That it's only our perception that's delayed. As the perceiver, as the perception, as the perceiving. So this is only a concession. It's instant. And it's this very moment. So suspend your disbelief and your lack of faith. Just suspend it. You can leave it there, but suspend it for a moment. For 48 hours. Do a 48-hour challenge. See yourself as Bruce Almighty. Right? This is what's going on here. It's great because it's like the story of the centurion servant, which I've talked about. In the Bible, the metaphysical meaning of this. Not a religious interpretation. It's not about that. It's not about being Christian. It's not about any religious organization or any specific religious faith. It's not about any of that. It's the metaphysical meaning. Even in the show The Chosen, right? Where I've talked about many times, they have that scene of Gaius as the centurion in the healing of his servant. Watch that scene; it's powerful. Lord, I'm not worthy that you should come under my roof. This is a powerful statement here. I'm not worthy that you should. I'm not worthy. My finite physical mind only sees limitation, only sees separation. My finite, limited mind can't imagine what I desire and what I want is mine right now. It can't imagine that. It can't imagine a reality without time and space, boundless and all that is. So I'm not worthy, so we feel this innate unworthiness. It feels built in, but it's not innate. It's not natural. I am is natural. I am is innate. It's actually you're utterly worthy. You couldn't feel not worthy or have that experience unless you were utterly worthy. So he says, I'm not worthy that you should come under my roof within this physical finite mind. I can't imagine it, right? You assume that you can't imagine what you desire and you can't receive what you want. You can't be that identity and version of you that you always wanted to be with all those contrary, unwanted thoughts, feelings, and circumstances, images and perceptions of your finite physical mind. That's what Gaius, or the centurion servant, is saying there. Come under my roof, my finite mind, that can't imagine that I'm already that person I desire to be. Not with all those contrary thoughts and feelings, those images and perceptions and sensations. I can't imagine it. I'm not worthy. My finite mind's not worthy. It feels limited. But remember, it's not about that. You're utterly worthy. So stop trying to overcome all that. Stop struggling against your own true nature of your I amness. Like the centurion's servant, it only keeps you paralyzed and sick. Remember when in The Chosen, Gaius is talking about his son, the servant's son, paralyzed and sick. But remember, you play all the parts. You're paralyzed and sick when you're trying to believe from your physical limited mind that you're worthy to come under my roof, that you can imagine it. It doesn't happen there. So stop struggling with all of that and accept the fundamental truth that you're already that which you desire to be. That's what it's talking. I can't imagine to desire what I want because of all those unwanted circumstances and appearances and thoughts and feelings. And it keeps you sick and paralyzed again with these conditions. So stop trying to overcome it. That's the magic. When you stop trying to overcome it, you just are it. You are utterly worthy. Right? Accept the fundamental truth. Stop pushing against it and accept your true nature. Just say the word and accept the fundamental truth that you're worthy. I am is absolute worthiness, fulfillment, complete, whole, and healed. And you couldn't ever experience you could never have the experience of being ill or incomplete or unfulfilled unless you are wholly, absolutely fulfilled, complete, whole, and healed. That's powerful. I've said that before, right? But just say the word and my servant will be healed. It's said here in the story of the centurion servant. I know I'm not worthy, that my finite mind, it feels separate and limited and can't imagine being fulfilled. But just say the word. I'm not worthy for you to come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed, fulfilled, whole, and complete. Right? No, I'll no longer be holding myself in bondage, the servant, the idea of a servant, in bondage to the changing appearances and conditions. Right? Try this now. Try this 48-hour challenge. I am that I am who is healthy. I am that I am who is wealthy. I am that I am who is loved. I am that I am who is free. I am that I am that has always been healthy, wealthy, in love and free. Do you see? You're using that affirmation saying, I am that I am who, or I am that I am that. That is great in the combination with a 3-second imaginal scene. But don't worry about visualizing it. This affirmation, this assumption, creates the image, creates the metaphysical blueprint, creates the only reality there is, the reality that you desire. That mantra, whether you can visualize it or not, is the creative power within you. Is the power that creates worlds. You're invoking that reality. Make it your own. You do you. Make it your own, whatever it is. But this key part, I am that I am who, is the word of God. I am that I am who has always been loved. I am that I am who is loved unconditionally. I am that I am who always manifests and creates what they desire. I am that I am who's always been that which I desired to be. I am that I am who has always been successful. I am that I am. It's always been famous and adored. Whatever you want, right? These are all the things that some of the people that talk with me want. I am that has my specific person knocking my door down, declaring their love for me. I am that I am who has everything that I could ever want, dream, or desire. Do you see the power here? I am that I am who always had this ideal skin or appearance, like some of you were talking about that. Or the other day in the live stream, some of you said you wanted your specific person with a thick head of long hair. I am that I am who has a specific love in their life that has thick, gorgeous hair. Whatever you want. There's no limits. There's no judgment. It's none of that. You can have whatever you want. Remember, you're not ever depriving anybody. You're creating your world and your reality in your versions of the people, events, and circumstances in that infinite reality where all possibilities exist of what you want and desire. This is it. That 3-second scene with I am that I am who. I am that I am that. I'm telling you, this is instant. We say in minutes as a concession, it's done. Make it your own. This is powerful. It's not about, and always a question comes up, yeah, but it doesn't work for me. Remember, you're declaring that. There's nothing that didn't work or worked. You're creating that idea from this identity right now. There is no past where things didn't work. There's no past where things worked. There's only right now what you're creating. You create your horizontal linear past, your horizontal linear present, and your horizontal linear future right now. Creation's finished. What's it going to be? Let's go. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk. As Jesus said at the healing of the pool of Bethesda, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep seeing reality the way that you believe or assume it appears to be? Unfulfilled, not what you want? Are you going to see it in your ideal? Are you going to declare right now? Are you going to take a stand? Are you going to put your foot down and say, I am that I am who's always been loved? Right? Wherever you put your foot, remember in Scripture, wherever your foot treads, or wherever you put your foot down, I have already given you. That's the message of Scripture. It's a message of God. That's the message of the ancients. Don't confuse. I just want to be clear here. The unseen or the no thing or the nothing, that's the pure potential. That's the only reality. Don't confuse not seeing it with it not existing. Notness and non-existence is not the same as nothingness. Nothingness is everything. It's that pure potential. Don't confuse nothing with I am not. Just say the word I am. Nothing is all potential. It's all possibilities. I am not's impossible. And it's said in that same story in the centurion servant, and the servant was healed that very moment. So this guy who feels like Bruce Almighty, that's manifesting, he said that his specific person called him like 4 times, never calls him. Never calls him. Yeah, there's a text message occasionally and that thing. And then a bunch of other things with money and free things and friends calling him, inviting him out. He's feeling like Bruce Almighty, just pointing and walking. Right? He feels like he can even change the weather. Remember, when you affirm and imagine, I am that I am who is rich, successful, healthy, and love. Hear this. You are invoking the power that creates worlds. Creating that world that identity of you in every moment. Yeah. So when you affirm, I am that I am who, or I am that I am that, and then whatever it is that you desire, you're invoking that creative power of God as God, right? Creating that world, you're creating worlds, or your world, or that identity of you in that moment because it already exists. You're occupying, you're invoking it. Do you see this? This manifesting technique invokes your creative power as God. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on our videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, The Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on our Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, our TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, and for being part of our membership channel, specifically for attending the live stream that we just had on Sunday. It was such a great live stream, so powerful, a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, a lot of magic. And so thank you for being there. If you're interested in our, right now it looks like we're having them twice a month, or we might even have them once a week. But for sure, at least once a month we'll have a live stream in the membership channel, if not more. We're going to be announcing our next live stream. If you're a member, tune in. If you're not a member, check out the link below. We also, as promised, have another video coming for the membership channel. That's in the works. That will be done shortly. Creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.